So this morning, we started the meeting. I asked if Ajahn was coming or not, and was told he wasn't. And that's no fault of anyone's. It's just a common thing, just a misunderstanding. And
I never told anyone that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, it's common. And so, but what I'm pointing out with this is, when I heard that, oh yeah, that's okay. Self-assurance. All right, start the meeting. And then all of a sudden, Ajahn appeared. And it's that point that all of us can see in ourselves when we see that occurrence happening, when there's this, all right, I know the future, I know what's going to happen, everything, okay, it's like this now. And then there is this sense when that changes, this is the smallest change. It's like such a small thing, but then it's like, what? And dukkha is right there. It's right in that moment where it's like, well, how did this happen? And, I was just told this. And I just imagine for an enlightened being, it's just in the scene, there's just the scene. It's just, okay, in the herd, there's just a herd. So Ajahn not coming. And then all of a sudden Ajahn there. So if we can kind of put ourselves in that place, then we can see dukkha so much clearly. We can say like, oh, what's that? What would that be like to have no feeling of angst, or if it was, it's just perfectly found there. If there's any kind of something that arises within the body, it's just seen completely through mindfulness, and it's just, okay, there's Ajahn, there's this, hearing something, there's Ajahn, and there's no suffering made out of that. There's no kind of feeling that, why was I told this, or how could this be wrong, or did plans actually change? Did Ajahn change his mind? And whatever, the mind just starts to spin out because it's not supposed to be like this. That's the sense of dukkha in the world. It's not supposed to be like this. It's supposed to be how I want it. It's supposed to be how I feel self-assured. And even that sense of self-assurance slipping away, it's like that's the comfort. That's the sense that we know the future. We know what's going to happen, and there's no need to even question it, which is the problem. Because as soon as we make these assumptions that we do know, we're always wrong, even if we're right, because that very assumption in and of itself is just that. It's just like, okay, now I know how things are going to go. Well, even if Ajahn didn't show up, we're covering our defilements over, we're covering these assumptions that we make over. And so, in my own sense of my experience, this is seen happens so many times, and it's like the same recording being played over and over and over again. And that's not any reason for us to chastise ourselves. It's just, okay, there it is. There's Mara again. There are these habits that I have of mind just coming up, feeling like I know, believing that I know, but I don't know, even when it turns out that my assumptions are correct in a way. And even in that moment, I might have assumed, oh, Ajahn is still sick, or whatever or he's not down, or whatever it might be. And all of these are just layers of our delusion. And if we want to uncover them, we can just kind of keep questioning ourselves. What is it that is kind of coming up in the background of our experience, and we're not challenging, we're not seeing very clearly? Because it's just this habit of delusion that will keep going lifetime after lifetime if we're not aware of it and challenging it and seeing it clearly and then letting it go. And so the degree to which we can see that we've let something go is when something like that happens. Ajahn appears, didn't expect that, and it's just like, oh, and there's nothing there. There's not this kind of pulling at the heart. There's just the knowing of anicca, of impermanence, of not being sure. Anyone?